evening, everyone. The first major story we have for you today is the rising housing costs for undergraduates living on campus at the University of California, Irvine. While current students at UCI are busy going to class and studying, the housing cost for freshmen is being raised. And now with Apple Pay, Venmo, Zelle, and many other digital wallets, students are able to give UCI their money in a much easier and faster way. For today's report, we have heard from a variety of students' perspectives on this issue and how much they care about financial burdens on themselves and future UCI students. But when comparing the housing costs at UCI with rent at other places, such as apartments around Southern California, is this problem really that bad? The complaining about the housing prices really shows the privilege that many of these students come from. It is very naive for these students to think that their college campuses will actually be cheaper than the regular prices of rent in the area. It is also well known that many UCI students have rich parents who provide them with financial reassurances that allow them to not really understand the costs of regular prices of many things such as rent in the real world. Back at their hometowns where their parents paid for many things, for everything for them, they became used to not having to worry about bills or any money in general. Considering that none of these UCI undergraduates have ever spent a single dollar on their housing back home when living with their families, of course they will feel this way about the cost of living on campus, where they now have to be the ones in charge of paying. California being expensive as it is, their argument is already on thin ice. In reality, the housing costs for undergraduates at UCI really isn't that bad. While these students make it out to seem that their housing prices are incredibly high, housing is costly anywhere they go, such as in the UC system. Their poor argument here shows just how little research they have done into this issue, as housing costs are expensive everywhere. Whether it is UC campuses, universities in general, Southern California, or simply anywhere in California. No matter where these students are, they will have to worry about money. That is simply inevitable as a result of being an adult. And having just gone into the real world, this is the freedom that they were after, the good and the bad. So when we discuss these issues about money and other topics of discourse throughout our report today, just remember that these are just teens who have no idea how the real world works. They have barely begun their lives that are going to be full of finances that every adult must worry about, and they cannot really grasp this fact at such a young age. These are also the same students that knew the risks when applying to the University of California, Irvine, as well as when they received their financial aid package. If these students really were going to be upset about the price of living on campus, then maybe they should have planned better. This is always the option for commuting to campus, which many students choose to do, as well as taking online classes if they are so inclined to do so, and remain committed to UCI. Additionally, many of the students that go to UCI apply to many other schools around the state, and that they easily could have decided to go to. Their ability to get a job and support themselves with a source of income that can go straight to their housing costs is also always there. Overall, there are many directions and opportunities for the students at UCI to take advantage of if this really does become an issue. But as stated before, most students just do not realize their resources or do much research into how they can help themselves and their current burdens as college students. The current students at UCI are experiencing this in real time, and we will hear various other arguments on the power-hungry campus that is UCI, as we explore the various costly elements that come with being an undergraduate student at UCI later tonight. Keep in mind that the context of these situations are always important to know, and while we may not be able to know the context, just know that there is something there. It is likely that these students are just simply unaware of the realities of paying for rent in general, and not simply on-campus housing being too expensive. Now, our next story is on the horrors of paying to park on campus for UCI undergraduate students.
Does my hair look good? Are we rolling? Oh, okay. Hello. Good evening, future UCI students. My name is Natalie Moreno, and I'm reporting live from the trenches of UCI parking. I'm currently a first-year student here at UCI, though it feels like I've been here for 60 years, just like our school, but I believe I'm in better condition. Besides the point, as a full-time student, it's simply just easier to commute to UCI rather than stay on campus. Sure, it could be draining and stressful at times, but what's college without a little gray hair, you know? But surely it's really not a big deal. I've clearly spent more time circling around than actually attending class. Parking permits are now $600 a quarter. $600. But it beats last year's permit, which was only $599. It feels good to round up. But at that price, Peter should come and park my car for me. Now, hourly parking is $75, which means you've already made a semester at Irvine Valley College just to park your car. Don't get me started on the AR, R, and P parking, where students pay for parking permits which cost their liver to simply park closer to campus, which in the end is still a long walk. Who's really paying $400 a month to have preferred parking? And the residents who pay twice as much just to get out past UTC and enjoy the ocean, but they're actually stuck spending all their money on their parking. I mean, sure, you're paying the cost of a mortgage to park our car for a couple of hours in the furthest part of campus. But hey, at least I'm eating my 13,000 steps around campus. Great exercise. That's only the beginning of how far the parking is, where I'm basically parking in another zip code area. I could be at lot 70 looking down Aldrich Hall like I'm on some magical quest of the Lord of the Rings, or the Anteater parking pavilion where I'm walking up and down a flight of stairs for what seems like 2 lifetimes. These different options of parking have me going crazy, or running late for class and still having to drive up 20 levels just to find a parking spot that doesn't say AR or for staff or P for permits only. Going in circles just trying to find a parking spot and praying a spot opens up where someone actually parks right. Oh, right. Those parking spots don't generally exist. Only in the furthest corner of the solar system, next to this mysterious dumped car with the missing windshield wiper. No, I generally love it when I'm spiritually awakened by my $800 general parking pass to maybe find a decent parking spot on campus. Well, unless I've arrived before the break of dawn and sped my way through the herd of scooters. And the UCI parking transportations must have a timer on every car, knowing the exact time limit. Because I was not even over 5 minutes of my parking time, and there was already a $500 parking ticket. These tickets are no joke. When I have to give an arm and a leg to park my car on a campus, where I already have to pay millions of dollars for tuition. But that's a different story. But UCI is truly great. I love the luxurious parking experience. Like, who really would need Disneyland when they're stuck here paying this $1,000 permit and still end up in the shadows of hell and the grave beyond? Oh, so what is the best part, you ask? Well, it's all great when your permit doesn't even guarantee you a spot. UCI may have only created it just to give students hope because they all know their social life isn't getting any better. I'm not just a student trying to receive higher education for a better opportunity. I'm now a broke college student, basically financing a slab of asphalt. But it must be all worth it knowing my money should be paying for 5-star dining hall food, cheaper housing, and great socials. We'll see about that because, you want to go to class? Pay. Want to park near class? Pay more. Want to breathe near Aldrich Hall Park? That'll be $5 per in-L. Please and thank you. And don't forget the tip, Peter. UCI charges you for parking even though the campus is literally a circle. Ring Road is basically a hamster wheel of debt. You walk in and walk out and somehow you owe $300? Let's not forget about the towing horrors we call UTC. UTC is a slight loophole in the parking situation. However, it is really like Las Vegas because you're gambling with your car. If you get caught trying to park your car at UTC for over an hour, well then Ciron then just tows your car and is doubled in the parking ticket. No one wants to pay $900 to get your car back, especially if it goes to Ciron. This crazy gamble is risky, so a lot of students resort to eBay, auctions, and reselling a parking lot. It's a crazy world when we have students giving away meal swipes, social benefits, food, and boba. Because seriously, no UCI student can pass up on boba. Hey, honestly, UCI is a great place. Nothing screams luxury like all the greenery in Aldrich Park, the great source of exercise from the far parking, and our very own over-the-top, overpriced parking permits, which can double as collector's items. Well, thank you for having me, and remember, bankruptcy!
Thank you. Today we're out in the beautiful Aldrich Park to hear more about life at the University of California, Irvine. Just look out at all the gorgeous green fields. What? What are they doing? Come on. Hi there. We're from our news station, and we're here to learn more about the lives of anteaters here in Irvine. So we wanted to know, what exactly are you doing?
OMG, the news? Oh, it's so nice to meet you. My name is Ikea. I pay a lot. So, yeah, I'm just walking to class right now.
In the splits?
Yeah. I'm just trying to save money one step at a time, of course.
Wait, what? How are you saving money doing this?
Oh, I should explain. So basically, here at UCI, we pay for every step we take.
What? Every single step?
Yeah, it's totally normal. When we first submitted the paperwork for our enrollment as anteaters, we also had to submit this waiver thingy giving the school permission to install these little chip thingies into our wrists. Pretty standard stuff these days, honestly. You know how college is. So basically, it just counts our steps and charges based on that. But man, do those small charges add up.
Wait, so what are these chips?
Well, the university set up these, microchips called e-chips in the wrists of, like, all of our students. And basically, they just make sure that everybody pays 10 cents for every single step they take on campus. It used to be 5 cents, but inflation happened, you know, so now it's 10 cents, which honestly isn't that bad. Like, imagine if it was 25 cents or something. That would be rough.
Isn't that still a lot though?
No. Why would you ever think that?
Oh, it just seems like you would need to take a lot of steps around campus, so it would cost a lot.
I mean, for some people, yeah, but only if you don't try. I heard this one dude once paid like $1,300 for just one day. Like, it's insane. He really did not maximize his steps at all, dude. You see, the strat is wide steps. It might take a little longer to get to where you need to be, but it's so worth it. I do it to every single class. Every cent counts when you're a broke college student, you know?
You mean to tell me you pay for every step you take on campus?
Yeah, you know how expensive it is these days, but at least it's not private school level. That would be paying for, like, every breath you take.
I see. So how do you and your fellow students feel about this? Torture. I mean, cruel.
I mean, personally, I think it's pretty standard. Most of us students are used to it. I mean, these microchips are normal, you know? They've been being used for years. It's literally tradition at this point. Almost like a fun game. It's not like we can remove these chip things anyway, so we have to find other ways to maximize our steps. Find little loopholes, you know? Currently, my best strat has been doing the splits, but I've seen some even more amazing people show up with stilts. They're so dedicated and cool. So yeah, it's all basically like a fun and challenging puzzle game. UCI loves to push us to be our best selves after all. But some people, they think that our tradition means nothing. They think it's absurd and that paying a reasonable amount is way too much. It makes no sense to me. They do all this protesting and fighting the administration to tear down a beautiful tradition that is literally not all about money. They don't understand at all. They clearly don't know the value of integrity and tradition here at UCI.
Oh, okay. Well, what about bikes and e-scooters then? We've seen a few, so.
Oh, those people. Yeah, those kinds of transportation have been banned for so long, and there are even officers who are valiantly enforcing it. But for some people, they just don't care. They don't get it at all. It's so frustrating. None of them are truly UCI students. They don't get what it means. They don't get what it feels like. They aren't OGs like that. They can't appreciate the grind it takes to have integrity. They really don't know what it means to live the life of real college students. They've never had to wake up extra early to splits walk across campus for an 8 a.m. They've never pulled a hamstring 18 times in one day. They've never dislocated their kneecap multiple times each quarter. They don't know that pain. They're not anteaters.
Are we sure this person is okay? They aren't brainwashed or anything, right?
What was that? Did you say something, Mrs. Reporter?
Oh, nothing. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. Thank you. Have a great day. Anteaters rule. Zot, zot, zot.
That was informative. Well, there we have it, folks. It seems that here at UCI, there's a strong value of integrity and financial gain. Well, that's it on our end. Back to you.
I'm a commuter, so I already knew that I'd be missing out on putting myself further in debt by paying a low of $20,000 to live in a single room and then be able to bond with 3 other roommates who are also equally financially irresponsible and also in debt. But what I didn't know is that just walking in Aldridge Park would pay for those expenses on its own. As if I'm not already spending the rest of my life savings on just parking expenses. And as if pushing through student debt through additional expenses like parking fees, gas fees, or even walking on campus weren't enough. Just the thought of wanting a social life is expensive. And I don't mean in a socially dead way. I mean like literally expensive. I knew that when I made the decision to commit to UCI and drive every morning an hour, it was going to be a little bit harder to meet new people. But what I didn't know is regardless if you live on or off campus, you're going to be paying for a social life if you want to have one. Tell me why I tried to join a couple clubs at one of the college fairs, and I found out the deposit and additional fees to join the club per quarter were more expensive than I could afford as a working student. They even charged me for their time when I asked a couple questions about the club. They told me I have to pay $20 for their time, and if I didn't pay within 20 days, it'll be double.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the?
And do not get me started on Greek life. One sorority alone was more expensive than the 3 clubs I tried to join all together. With a price that high, I think they tried to charge me for breathing next to them. And I thought, maybe the Greek life isn't for me, so I decided maybe I should go to a couple frat parties, check them out, meet some new people. And emphasis on thought, because unless you're willing to wait hours just to try to get in, be denied at every door, be denied because you're a guy, be denied because you have to pay, or be denied because you don't know anybody, and then finally get into a party hours later just to find out that they're playing music that you're more likely to hear at a middle school dance. There's no food, and then you have to pay to use the bathroom. And of course, if you do want food or to use the bathroom, it's an additional fee because you're paying for socialization, not for food in the bathroom. So then I thought, maybe house parties might be the move for me, but then you have to register, pay for those too. You want to get let in, you have to pay. Food, pay. Bathroom, pay. Same thing. You want to leave, you have to pay. Literally one time, I was talking to one of the house members that came up to me first, and then she tried to charge me for talking to her. I got sent an invitation that said $5 if you're a girl, $10 if you're a guy, $15 to use the bathroom, $20 to breathe privileged air, $30 to talk to a member. Other than that, don't let anything I said alarm you. UCI is pretty chill. Everything everywhere in UCI costs money anyways, so if you're going to spend money, save the last of your scraps for a social life. But if it makes you feel any better, 90% of all college students here are equally as broke. And if you do decide somehow to avoid any social interaction with others and sacrifice your sanity and support system altogether, you should save a few bucks. But at the very least, if you can't connect with other students through common interests, Greek life, parties, I found I'm able to connect through the financial debt that everyone is going through. I've literally made more connections with people in the financial aid line than I have throughout this whole quarter anywhere on campus this whole year.
What are you here for?
My housing payment declined again. Second time this quarter. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm here because my fees for walking Aldrich Park aren't being covered by my loans. So I owe $10,000 by tomorrow, or else I'll be forced into online classes.
Oh no.
Honestly, any UCI is one of the many overly expensive UCs, so might as well pick UCI, the socially concerning college that's more expensive than paying the bills of your own apartment at 18 years old. But I mean, at the very least, there's a beach within 15 minutes away. And, of course, that's only if you have a car, which most freshmen don't. But if you do, you might be lucky. But, of course, that's only if you have some friends to go with, which most freshmen don't have either. If you don't have either, you might be cooked. If anything, walking to UTC is just as fun. Of course, if you have money for it, which most UCI students also don't have.
Well, we sure have heard enough from the students of UCI, but now we're here to interview one of the most handsome, absolutely generous, charitable, honest UC chancellors, Clarence Aquino, regarding these very modern financial practices being practiced by the school. Chancellor Clarence Aquino, what do you have to say about this?
Hello, my name is UCI CEO Clarence Aquino. Go 8-Eaters! Well, here at UCI, we value the learning and success of our students. As one of the best colleges in America, we know what's best for our students, and we are so glad to be recognized for our efforts in modernizing the school system. And when you think of UC Irvine, you probably think about how we are a public and understanding school. Well, you also probably know that we are part of the top 10 public schools in America. Well, that's all right, top 10, whatever. But we've already seen how UCLA and UC Berkeley, they've been fighting it off for the top one spot as the public school in USA. But UC Irvine, we actually secured a top one spot for ourselves.
Oh my, Chancellor Clarence Aquino, that is amazing. What one top spot have you, as UCI, managed to achieve?
Well, I'm so glad, you're asking me this, because for the first time in UC history, UC Irvine has managed to, overtake UCSD in being first place in America's highest paid public school chancellors. Oh my God, that is so cool! Well, UCI houses the most paid chancellor in all of America, me. This is such an amazing achievement for UCI because it really shows how we've grown as a UC since older days when people only knew UCLA and UC Berkeley. We can finally honor the hard work that I have done as the chancellor of UCI. Oh, and shout out to the students as well. But really, shout out to me! Oh my God, so exciting!
That's certainly a positive achievement for you, Chancellor Clarence Aquino. Well, how did this come about?
Well, as the leader of UC Irvine, I realized that as a company, we should not fall behind the other UCs. Me and UCSD Dean, John Diego, we're really neck to neck on how we can secure that number one spot. But luckily, I came on top. I realized that what is more profitable than our own students? Our students are 8-Eaters, ... We have always been generous folks, and I consider them as my friends, In UCI, when you join our campus, you are involved in this tight-knit community, that you can never find in a Stanford or Pomona college. UCI does the best. And with the help of pulling some ties within our financial aid office, who has been doing a phenomenal job in helping our students and auto-marking their emails as read, I managed to secretly hike up everyone's base tuition by 30% this year.
Whoa. Isn't that percentage far too high?
Well, Not really. All the other UCs have allowed their students to pay tuitions of up to $100,000 per year, only per year. Well, here at UCI, we're loving and so generous to have made our students pay only $99,000 this year on tuition. We have gotten so much gratitude for this hike, you know. Our students have always been so kind and willing to help UCI and reach our goal of allowing me to obtain the first place in America's highest paid public school chancellors. You know, it's been such a dream. We have zero complaints. And I think with this overly positive response, this is how we have come to start executing our modernized financial choices. What started off as $30 parking per hour has become $30 parking per minute. What had started off as $15 per meal swipe has turned into $15 for every grain of rice you place into your plate. It's fantastic. And I haven't even talked about how much housing costs over here. I am running a bank. At this rate, UCI can actually retain a first place position for once in our entire history. You know, I love UCI, and everybody watching will love it when they get here. I'm so excited to profit off of our incoming freshmen. On that topic, actually, we UCs have actually decided to start hiking up our tuition per year by a percentage of 5%. But here at UCI, we decided that we need to start fixating ourselves to that first place mindset. So we decided instead hike ours by 6% each year. Oh my god, my days have never been brighter. I've always thought of the day that I could finally take first place amongst all the other UC chancellors.
Don't you think it may be actually a bit expensive for the students to be enrolled here?
Expensive? Expensive? Trust me, these students are rich. They should be happy that we are not USC. Those privates hike up everything. No student should spend that much for a degree. Our own UCI degrees come with a pretty pink bow and some decorative Walmart stickers to customize. You know, so much more worth than whatever crap the privates can offer. Honestly, USC's dean gets paid $30 billion per year. I get paid only by $1 million. That is such a big gap, and honestly, it sometimes feels hopeless on how we can match that. But now, with our absolutely mind-blowing, inventive financial techniques, we can form a stable route to not only keep the #1 spot as the highest paid chancellors amongst all the publics, but also the highest paid chancellor in the entire world. Oh my god.
Sorry to interrupt, almighty king of UC Irvine, Clarence Aquino. I just got an approval from the UC president that UCI is approving your request to raise your base pay from $1 billion to $10 billion.
Oh my god, 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 oh my god. You see this right here, Mr. Interviewer? This is what dreams, this is what lives make worth living for. Oh. Please excuse me. I need to start preparing for UCI's first ever 24-karat gold statue of the upcoming highest paid chancellor in the entire world. Leave me.